Welcome to our channel. Today, in this video, we will present you with the 12 beautiful, abandoned places around the world. From a deserted Bolivian train cemetery to an empty Romanian salt mine, these are some of the world's most fascinating and unusual tourist attractions. Stay until the end of the video to see all these fascinating places, and we may even take you to visit them. 1. Art Nouveau Palace Hotel. Hotels come and go, but not all of them were as luxurious as the Art Nouveau Palace on Croatia's largest island, Kennecott. Despite being abandoned for more than 3 decades, you can still see its past opulence in the modern exterior and massive now-drained pool. The property was opened in 1972, and Penthouse magazine founder Bob Gugson was an investor, dropping $45 million into what would become the Penthouse Adriatic Club. Here, wealthy hotel guests would gamble and be treated to caviar, lobster, and champagne. There were also bowling lanes and tennis courts on site. In 1991, the property closed down as the Civil War broke out, and it later served as a base for refugees. Now, the property is completely overrun with weeds and covered in glass. People have visited in the time between, but no official tours are operating in the area. 2. St. George's Church in Czech Republic. Get ready, this one is a bit spooky. Abandoned in 1968, St. George's Church still stands and currently houses a whole crew of ghosts. But the story of why it was deserted only adds to the story of its current tenants. The structure was first built in the 14th century to serve the local community in this town, about 120 miles east of Prague. In 1968, the church's roof collapsed during a funeral, resulting in many of the congregation believing it was haunted. So, they began to congregate outside to worship, leaving the interior to deteriorate. As the building fell into more disrepair, the community unsuccessfully tried to raise money to renovate it. Enter local artist Jacob Hadrova. He played off of the folklore and constructed 32 life-size ghost sculptures that sit among the pews. The church is open on Sundays for those brave enough to take a closer look. 3. Lago di Rizia, Lake Ration, Bell Tower, in South Tyrol, Italy. There's a good chance you've seen a photo of this eerie bell tower on Instagram. Half submerged in water, it's a mark of the valley that used to exist before a large dam was created to support the local hydroelectric company and merged 2 natural bodies of water, Mittersee and Ration. In addition to the 2 lakes becoming one, the flooding overtook the villages of Arlong PS, Gorfa Stockerhof, PS Karan, and sections of Ration. Hundreds of homes and farms were swallowed, along with most of the Church of St. Catherine. In an attempt to level the land, the energy company set off explosives to reduce buildings to rubble. But the 14th century bell tower was left behind because of its long history. As beautiful as it may be, for many it's a reminder of the heartache locals endured to relocate themselves and loved ones buried in the local cemeteries. 4. SS Airfield Shipwreck in Sydney, Australia. During the 20th century, Sydney's Homebush Bay served as an industrial port and was filled with ships that transported coal and oil. But when the area's industrial operations declined toward the end of the century, the bay became a ship-breaking ground for decommissioned vessels. Today, you can still see some of the abandoned freighters across Homebush Bay, including the SS Airfield, a 1911 vessel that carried supplies to U.S. troops in the Pacific region during World War II. The boat was deregistered in 1972 and now floats in the bay, overgrown with mangrove trees. 5. Great Train Graveyard in Uyuni, Bolivia. Located high in the Andean plains of southwest Bolivia, the small city of Uyuni is known for its proximity to the world's largest salt flat, Salar de Uyuni. But the area is also home to another unique attraction, a train cemetery known as Cementerio de Trenes in Spanish, scattered with abandoned locomotives that date back to the 19th century. These massive steel trains were imported to the region as part of plans to develop a railway system that would transfer minerals from Uyuni to cities on the Pacific coast. But after the area's mining industry lost momentum, the project was cancelled, and more than 100 train cars were left to rust. The trains have now been primarily corroded by salt and heavy winds, but visitors are free to explore what remains. The grounds are less than 10 minutes by taxi from downtown Uyuni, and most local tour companies stop at the site en route to the salt flats. 6. Salina, Turda Salt Mine, in Turda, Romania. This colossal mine dates back to the Middle Ages. Located in Transylvania, the hollowed underground space was the site of table salt production for hundreds of years until excavations ended in the early 20th century. Since 1932, the cavern has been used for several purposes, including as a warehouse for cheese storage and a bomb shelter during World War II. In 1992, Salina Turda was repurposed again, this time as both a museum of salt mining and a subterranean amusement park that contains an amphitheater, a Ferris wheel, spa treatment rooms, a bowling alley, pool tables, and even an underground lake with robots. Tickets cost approximately $10 for adults, $7 for children. 7. City Hall Subway Station in New York City. New York City's first subway station, which opened below City Hall in 1904, was adorned with vaulted ceilings, intricate tilework, and elegant chandeliers. The grandiose platform served commuters until 1945, but was shuttered after the majority of New Yorkers eventually opted to use nearby rail stations with more efficient express tracks. Today, the New York Transit Museum leads exclusive guided tours of the defunct City Hall station for $50 per person. You have to become a museum member for the chance to explore the New York landmark, and even then, tickets for the 90-minute train station tours tend to sell out quickly. 8. Crocco in Matera, Italy. Founded precariously on a steep hilltop in southern Italy during the 8th century, the medieval village of Crocco has fallen victim to several disasters, including earthquakes, landslides, and devastating plagues. In 1991, a landslide forced all of Crocco's remaining residents to evacuate, leaving the site in a state of slow ruin. While the village is now entirely uninhabited, visitors can marvel at the Basilicata region ghost town on daily tours led by authorized guides at the Welcome Center, no reservations necessary. 9. Deception Island in South Shetland Islands, Antarctica. Deception Island is more than a water-surrounded landmass in Antarctica's South Shetland Islands. It's also an active volcano. In the early 20th century, the caldera served as a base for whaling operations. But it was abandoned many times, first in 1931 due to a slump in whale oil prices, and later in 1969 because of disruptive volcanic eruptions. Rusted tanks and boilers still scatter the Antarctic island alongside deteriorating research stations, beached boats, and a cemetery honoring workers who passed away there. Cruise lines such as Silversea and Oceanwide Expeditions offer voyages to Deception Island. If you're lucky, you might spot some chinstrap penguins. 10. Hashima Island in Nagasaki, Japan. Also known as Gunganjima, meaning Battleship Island for its resemblance to a Japanese battleship. This 16-acre-long island in Japan's Nagasaki Prefecture was once a densely populated place for undersea coal mining. Hashima Island functioned as a lucrative coal facility from 1887 until 1974, when the source ran out, after which Hashima's population quickly left the island. The Concrete Ghost Island was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2015, and today, groups of visitors can go on tours with local companies, such as the Gunganjima Concierge Company, which start at $36 for adults and $29 for students. 11. Bodie State Historic Park in Mono County, California. In the late 1800s, Bodie was a booming gold mining town with a population of more than 10,000 people. Today, the ghost town approximately 75 miles southeast of California's Lake Tahoe has been preserved in a state of arrested decay. Over 50 buildings are still standing, some featuring preserved interiors that appear almost exactly as they were left. A handful of the abandoned buildings are open for the public to explore for an entrance fee of $8 for adults and $5 for children, cash only. During summer, the State Historic Park offers exclusive nighttime ghost mill tours that feature legends and ghost stories about the town. 12. Kennecott Mill Town, Wrangell St. Elias National Park and Preserve, Alaska. This 20th-century copper mill town is listed on the U.S. federal government's National Register of Historic Places. From 1911 to 1938, an estimated $200 million worth of copper was processed in Kennecott, a self-contained company village, which included its own hospital, general store, post office, and school. Of the historic buildings that make up the 2,800-acre ghost town, the main attractions include a 14-story concentration mill and a defunct power plant, both of which are only accessible by guided tours. Harsh winters in Alaska make Kennecott inaccessible, so the town's visitor center is only open from Memorial Day to Labor Day. You have just reached the end of this video. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. I hope you liked our video, and if you want, you can subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our new videos.